time management won't save you the way it's been sold. For a lot of people, it becomes a refined form of anxiety, turning life into a grid so you don't have to feel how unstable, demanding, and unfinished everything is. The world tells you the problem is personal. If you're behind, you lack discipline. If you're tired, you need better habits. But what you're really experiencing is a culture that turns time into morality, productivity into worth, and rest into guilt. What you're about to recognize is the hidden bargain underneath the planners and the routines. You keep organizing because organization feels like control, and control feels like safety. Meanwhile, the same world that sells you control keeps stealing your attention through interruption, comparison, and permanent urgency. The answer isn't organizing harder. It's recovering sovereignty over your rhythm, so your life stops feeling like a checklist you can never finish. You can feel the bargain in the smallest moments. The glance at the clock that lands like a warning. The tiny spike of panic when you realize you lost 20 minutes. The way you reach for your calendar before you've even eaten, as if the day will punish you if you don't look first. Your mind starts negotiating time like it's a creditor. Then come the tools. The elegant apps. The color-coded blocks. The weekly resets. The habit trackers that promise a calmer you, a more disciplined you, a version of you that finally has it together. You set it all up and for a brief moment you feel relief. Clean lines. Clear categories. A sense of order. Then the schedule becomes another pressure. Because time management, right now, isn't mostly about time. It's about fear of falling behind. Fear of being seen as replaceable. Fear of becoming irrelevant. Fear of wasting your life. And fear is incredibly productive. It makes you compliant. It makes you rush. It makes you treat every quiet moment like a liability. So you start living as if your minutes need to be justified. You treat the day like a test you're always failing. If you complete everything, you're allowed to feel okay. If you don't, you're not. Your self-worth begins to rise and fall with a list. Not because you're shallow, but because the culture taught you a brutal equation: being busy means being valuable. And then it moralizes the whole thing. If you're behind, it's your fault. If you're overwhelmed, you're undisciplined. If you can't keep up, you need to optimize. That's the lie. It sounds like empowerment, but it functions like blame. It turns structural overload into private shame. You can see it in how you talk to yourself. Not gently. Like a manager. Tighten up. Focus. Stop wasting time. Get it together. Even rest gets assessed. Was it earned? Was it efficient? Did it make you better? When you sit down, a voice appears: you didn't do enough. When you take a break, another voice: you're falling behind. You're tired. You keep pushing. You feel guilty anyway. And the machine around you loves that guilt. It doesn't need to chain you to anything. It only needs to make stopping feel dangerous. It only needs to keep the finish line moving. It only needs to make you believe your life is a project that must constantly prove itself. Look at the atmosphere you're living in: work that expands into evenings, messages that arrive in endless droplets, platforms that train you to check, react, compare. The day isn't just full. It's fragmented. Your attention is split into tabs. You're asked to switch context so often that your mind never fully lands. You can manage time perfectly and still feel empty because the real theft isn't hours, it's presence. You eat while reading. You listen while replying. You relax while thinking about what's next. The body is here, but the mind is constantly elsewhere, chasing the next requirement like it's a debt. This is where the promise collapses. The more you try to control everything, the more you notice you can't. So you tighten the system. You add another routine. Another rule. Another structure. Another optimization. For a moment, you feel safe. Then life does what life does. Someone needs you, something goes wrong, energy dips, the plan breaks, and the guilt returns, louder, because now you didn't just fail the day. You failed your own system. You failed your own idea of who you should be. If you felt that particular guilt, rest that tastes like anxiety, what triggers it most for you? Deadlines, messages, comparison, or the sense that you should always be doing more? Put one word in the comments. Just one. It helps you see the pattern as a pattern. Here's the thing most advice avoids saying: you cannot out-organize a pace that is designed to keep you overextended. The culture that worships efficiency will always find a new reason for you to speed up. The economy of attention will always find a new way to split your focus. A world built on constant updates will always make stillness feel like you're missing something. So you plan harder, and it doesn't soothe you, because the underlying problem is not your calendar. It's the permanent threat in the air, the sense that if you slow down, you'll be punished. That threat can be subtle. Not always financial, not always social. Sometimes it's simply the fear of being nobody. The fear that if you're not producing, you're fading. And that fear turns time into identity. You're not a person having a day, you're a schedule trying to justify itself. This is why even the good days can feel oddly blank. You check everything off, and instead of peace, you feel a strange silence. Like you reached the top of a hill and found another hill. You did what you were supposed to do, and it still didn't deliver what you were promised, the sense that your life belongs to you. Because the promise was never about belonging. It was about compliance. Time management culture often sells control as a substitute for meaning. It tells you that if you arrange your minutes correctly, you'll feel okay. But meaning doesn't come from arrangement. Meaning comes from contact with your own life, your own relationships, your own senses, your own inner truth. And contact requires something this era keeps eroding: unbroken attention. When you live under constant interruption, you start experiencing everything as a series of partial moments. Half a conversation. Half a meal. Half a rest. Half a thought. You do not fully enter any of it. Then you wonder why it all feels thin. Why joy doesn't stick. Why you're always vaguely irritated. Why you feel like you're running, yet never arriving. You're not failing at life. You're being trained into a rhythm that doesn't fit the human body. The inversion you're looking for is not a new system. It's a new relationship to urgency. You start by noticing how many things are framed as emergencies when they are not. How many tasks demand immediate response simply because immediacy has become a norm. How many people, workplaces, platforms, even friends, have learned that you'll be there instantly if they ping you. And then you choose one small boundary that reteaches your system a different truth: the world can wait, and you won't die. Not as rebellion. As sovereignty. Maybe it's one email you stop answering at night. Maybe it's 1 hour in the morning you don't donate to the digital world. Maybe it's one meeting you don't squeeze into a space where your body is already depleted. Maybe it's refusing to turn your entire evening into recovery for tomorrow. This won't feel efficient. It will feel unsettling, because your worth has been tied to responsiveness. But that discomfort is information. It shows you how deep the contract goes, the contract that says you must be constantly available to deserve your place. Now bring it down to something physical. A clock. A calendar. A list. You come home and you see the week laid out in squares: appointments, chores, goals, reminders. The list on the fridge stares at you like a judge. Your first instinct is to negotiate. What can I fit in? What can I squeeze? What can I do so I can finally relax without guilt? Then you do something different. You take one sticky note off the stack. You write one task you're always carrying, something that keeps haunting you in the background. Then you fold the note, not dramatically, just quietly, and you put it inside a drawer. Not because it's unimportant. Because you're refusing to let it own your entire evening. You're choosing the order of your attention instead of letting the order choose you. And in that small act, you feel something unfamiliar: space. Not the empty space of procrastination. The living space of agency. The world will still pressure you tomorrow. It will still sell speed as virtue. It will still reward the people who treat themselves like machines. But you don't have to let your inner life be managed by a spreadsheet. It was never about organizing more. It was about reclaiming your rhythm.